remember a while back when I was in school, I have a buddy who grew up with me, a childhood friend. He came to spend the night around my house. And he came from, his mom didn't have too much.
Right.
And so when he came over to the house, he took his shoes off. And he did something I never really seen before. He literally took his shoes off, took both of them off, and he put his shoes inside the shoebox. When I took my shoes off, I threw one over there, one over there. And I said, bro, I gotta ask you a question. I said, 'cause this killing me. He said, what? I said, why you keep putting your shoes in the shoebox? He said, because I paid for them. Because being that he paid for his own shoes, he was able to appreciate the shoes better.
Right.
My mom brought all my stuff, so I didn't really appreciate it. I grabbed one shoe, threw it over there, but it showed me certain things that sometimes when you work for your own and see having a parent that do everything for you, sometimes it kind of killed the appreciation too.
It does.
You know what I'm saying? Because of I watch how he treated his shoes. He put both shoes inside the shoebox, closed the shoebox up, and I'm looking at him like, are you crazy? But the difference of it was that he paid for them shoes out his own money. My mama paid for my shoes, and she never taught me, you see what I'm saying, how to work for my own. You see what I'm saying? And that's the thing there too that really helped me, man. And honestly, when you have a child that's overlooked, sometimes in the end, that could end up being more of a blessing than a curse. And sometimes a child that have more, it could end up being a curse more than a blessing.
I want to bring something to Laz Leroy attention. I know, you're talking about your daughter and stuff like that, but what I want you to understand is this. Don't carry a burden that's not yours. Do not carry a burden that's not yours to carry.
Okay.
Because what I mean by that is this. One of my brother's closest friends, his mom and dad took care of him. He didn't have to work for anything, just like you're saying. He was a good kid, but guess what? Because he got everything given to him, he decided he wanted to go out there and be a part of the wrong crowd. And like you're saying, that's not the parents' fault that he did that he went that way, because he didn't have a reason to go that way. You had you had everything given to you. Don't get me wrong. He was a good kid, and he earned everything he got. But the thought is, just because you're good and you come from a good home, don't mean that kid gonna turn out that way.
You better believe it.
Okay.
So don't hold yourself accountable if it's not your burden to carry, because you're doing what you're supposed to be doing as a single father. You're doing it, and you can't. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink.
I think
True.
as a single parent, I wouldn't say father. Like I just say single parent,
Right.
because I hear a lot of people, oh, she's a single mother. She's like they had the baby by themselves, but a single parent,
Right.
right? So I get your situation. You do gotta let it go, because I was raised by my mom. All right, so my daddy, she didn't say nothing bad about him. She just let me see
For
what
yourself.
he do, and I was so angry, and then I didn't want my mama them love it. I went to the street, and that just got me. Hey, let me. Oh boy, these drug dealers, boy, they showing me love. Oh, I'm gonna do everything they do and all that. But it wasn't my mama them fault. It was just the few that I got. I took it that way when I could have took it another way, but at that time, that's the way I took it. So, no, it don't be your fault. All you can do is be like wrong, and right. Yes or no. Like the Bible say, let your yes be yes, let your no be no. Anything in between is wicked.
Yeah.
So I wanna say this. I know our topic was supposed to be from rage to resolve.
That's right. That's right.
And Bone did bring something up in reference to fatherhood and being mad. Now, me being a father to my daughter, I understand that. Yeah, we all got to live our lives. Except to my reasoning for leaving when I was younger was so that way I wouldn't be a burden on my mom. That was one of the reasons why I ended up joining the military as quickly as I did. as soon as because what was it? We had already been evicted. My mom had worked her tail off and got help and getting assistance with getting put in a shelter. We moved from one shelter to another shelter, but that shelter was more like an apartment. And then from there, she was able to get back on her feet and get into an apartment with her, my grandmother, my sister, and myself. Throughout this entire process, I did my part because I wasn't working, but my sister had to go to school, so I made sure that things was taken care of on that front, so that way she didn't have to worry about it. I had already stopped asking for stuff. So I wasn't the one that you'll see walking to school with Jordans on or anything. I just wanted to, if it was cold, I needed a coat. If, you know what I'm saying, I wasn't the best dressed by all means, you know what I mean? But I just knew that my mom was going through some things and I just didn't want to be a burden. Then the Marine Corps come knocking. And I'm going to be real honest with you. It could have been the Air Force. It could have been anybody who came knocking. It just didn't matter. It just that the Corps came knocking first and I was like, yeah, I'm out. I'm gonna go out. I'm gonna do this. One less mouth to feed, especially it's a boy. I eat a lot. You know what I mean? So, and that was my thing. But see, the anger came in because I didn't have my father there. So I grew up timid. So I used to allow a lot of stuff to slide. A lot of disrespectful stuff or being fearful to like fight and put hands. And then I joined the military, and then the roles reverse. I'm hyper angry now. It's like at the drop of a dime. It doesn't take much. I'm not scared to fight. I've been once you've been punched in the face a few times or been hit a few times, you don't fear that no more. I know what that feels. I know what it feels like. So at the end of the day, you might catch me, but I can promise you, it's gonna be a slugfest. I'm not about to sit up there and allow anything to go past on me at all. You might think you won, but when your friends see you, they're gonna be like, "Dog, you sure?" You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. But it's real harder now for the millennials today because we was able to use one word growing up that they can't use in today's time, and that's called poverty. And sometimes poverty, it actually helped us along the way. You know what I'm saying? When mama didn't have or certain things was lacking, that kind of helped fuel us to want to do better. It's a little complicated now because most of us has been in good positions financially that now we can't use that as a fuel for them. You see what I'm saying? It's hard to fuel them when they got a flat panel on the wall. You know what I'm saying? They got AC and heat blowing inside their face. They got a brand new car you just gave them for their Sweet 16 party. You know what I'm saying? So that was something that we was able to use to fuel us because a lot of us, when most of us talk, based on what we didn't have coming up. And that kind of helped us or whatever to be better, to strive for greatness. But how can you fuel somebody to do something when they already have everything? And that was the hard part for them that we never really saw. You know what I'm saying? Because, they got the game systems. They got this. So they don't really have no war stories to even tell their children. Hey, sit down. When I was your age, I had it all. That's what I did. I had everything. I had a car when I was 12. I had, you know what I'm saying?
So what you're saying is like, okay, so that makes sense.
See what I'm saying?
So, okay, I can be upset about the situation,
Right.
but we have pushed our children's war story.
Bingo.
For later on in their lifetime.
That's right.
So I can now that makes sense.
Yeah, you see what I'm saying? Because when you look at the war story that we grew up, man, when I was your age, man, it was me, my brother, my cousin, all us in the same room. We had one blanket. We had this. We didn't eat till a certain time of the day and all this. But they don't have that story. They when I was your age, I had food in the pantry. I had everything I wanted. I had all the Jordans when the Jordans came out. We was at Hibbett Sport 4:00 in the morning waiting for it. You know what I'm saying? It was like we didn't help give them a war story. They don't really have nothing to go to war off of. You see what I'm saying? When we was growing up, we had such a war story that we was ready to go to war in life. Like, man, look at here. I slept in a room with my brothers and everybody. We shared school clothes and all that. That's going to pump me up. But we done basically enabled them jokers to a point. We done, seriously.
It was life.
Seriously.
Love.
Bingo.
Yeah, right.
We We didn't realize we was doing that, but in our generation, we literally scared them for war. You know what I'm saying? That's why when the simple things happen, they don't even know what to do. You know what I'm saying? Because of they don't have anything really to say, and that's not, and that's to applaud us a little bit because a lot of us done a great job in providing on everything they need, but most of they wants. But at the same time, that enabled them to, in a sense, that how they're acting is based on how they were created. And one thing I tell everybody all day long, Frankenstein wasn't born, he was created. Frankenstein's name wasn't Frankenstein when he came from his mama womb. He was a little boy named and he was groomed to be Frankenstein. A lot of us, we just groomed them to be little young Frankensteins. You know what I'm saying? They really don't have a war story. Because if you ever think about it, the child who end up having less, they end up doing more in life. That's why I always applaud you a lot, Chuck. Because of the simple fight, yeah, you may talk about this and that, what happened with what Pops did you, but you had came to be the better one. Because sometimes the kids that have a lot, they're not really preparing for war. They don't have that story. They don't have that story where they got AC and heat blowing in their face. They got a food put inside the pantry. All that stuff there, they got a car. They don't even have a car. They have an automobile.
We gave them. We
You gave him the cart before the horse. That's what we did.
No, we put life on easy mode for
Thank
them.
you.
And now that you put it like that, because listen, when I grew up, what is it? I grew up in the heart of the ghetto, Bruce Place, Alabama Avenue, Southeast DC. Went from there to Alabama Avenue.
You didn't know that because you had love. It's the love they showed us.
Right, it's the love that the village, the community showed.
Right.
Exactly.
But listen, you got you even in the hood, you had those bullies. You had to do certain things. You know what I'm saying? But here's the thing, right? With my daughter, I try to give her the game.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? I try to give her the game. So it's like, listen, based off of how you look, society says they're going to have a problem with you. You're a dark-skinned girl. You're small in stature. You're going to have to prepare to fight. You know what I mean? That's just what it is.
Right.
So with me giving her that information, I would have think that when she went to school, she knew because that's exactly what happened. She had to go to school. These girls was picking on her because her hair was longer than hers. So next thing you know, I get calls from the school. Now I was in the fight. I was like, okay, well, she got her 3 rules. She said she's supposed to tell a girl to stop. If she don't tell a girl to stop, let the teacher know. If the teacher don't do anything, then handle your business. That's it. So that was my 3 rules at the end of the day. So I was like, okay. So when I asked the teacher, why you giving me a call? I was like, what did Nana ask you if she could move or get you? She was like, yes, but we don't have enough seats for them. And I was like, okay, that's not her responsibility. If you don't move the girl that's out of her way, Nana's going to move her out of the way.
Absolutely.
So, but that was my rule for her growing up. You know what I mean? And then when she realized that when she got to high school, she realized she didn't have to fight no more because her presence preceded her. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I would think that me giving you this particular advice and you're seeing it hand and foot, like right there, you can be like, well, my dad got useful information. So at what point does my information is not good any longer?
It's not that it's not good, and the thought is sometimes we still have to step back and let the chips fall where they may.
That's it.
It's tough. It's called tough love.
That's it.
And sometimes that's hard for us to do because we're trying to prevent them from going through certain situations. But you even hit the nail on the coffin. Sometimes they're not going to learn until they go through.
And that's it. And another thing too, I have a quote that I always go off of, and I had to use this with my son. It's called, "What can losing teach you that winning cannot?" Winning don't really teach you anything. You can't really learn for having an undefeated season. You know, what do you really learn from going undefeated? You really learn from the losses. And I remember my son, man, he was playing basketball and his team was losing. So he wanted to do what a lot of kids do, is transfer to a school that was already winning. And I told him, I said, "No, I ain't gonna do that." He was real upset with me. He said, "Nah, man, Dad, that's wrong." And I said, "Son, if I transfer you to that school, y'all gonna win the whole thing." He said, "Yeah." I said, "But what will you learn?" And sometimes I think as parents, sometimes we shield our children from defeat. But that's where the lesson is at. The lesson is right there. You see what I'm saying? And that's real. And the reason why they stumble so much, because we move them away from being defeated. Anytime a defeat came, move out the way, son. I'll fight this for you. I got you covered. Move out the way. Yeah, you got a drug problem, but guess what we gonna do? We gonna move into a subdivision that's rich people and there's no drugs. So you still gonna be on drugs in the rich area.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna get away from the hood. The hood is doing this. You was already crazy, but you see what I'm saying? But we'll do everything we can. You know what I'm saying? To shield them from defeat. Defeat gonna teach you more things that a victory ever can teach you. And I think the thing of it is we allow our children to go out that door after 18 years old being undefeated. And they getting blowed the hell out. They getting, I mean, we're throwing in a towel on them because they can't even pay a cell phone bill. You know, I got you, son. You can't do it. I got you. Let me help you out. You know what I'm saying? Because of simple. And so when you seriously think about it, a lot of it has to fight that they have no war story and they going out that door undefeated. They going out that door undefeated, and they getting the brakes knocked off them because of that.
See, I tried to.
Let
You use
loose.
that when you use that analogy. I'm the coach that's in the corner. We recently had a situation, right? My daughter got into a car accident, and the car accident she got in, thankfully she's not hurt, right?
Right.
But she wanted to get a new vehicle, and immediately I told her, I said, I'm not co-signing for that vehicle. I said, I'm not doing that. I said, I told you, I said, this one vehicle, you need to take care of it for as long as you can, but your next vehicle is on you, right? So we go to the dealership. When we go to the dealership, the man pulls her information and everything, asks her pay stubs from her job and everything, and then we sitting there, and then you know how they do. Oh, we got this vehicle right here. You want to test drive it? I was like, sure, we can test drive it. Now, me being me, you're not about to get anything from me. So we test drive it. Oh, I like this car right here, Dad. I was like, but what about the car you really wanted? She's like, well, no, this one here is fine. And I was like, okay, well, if you like it, if you can get into it, then so be it. They go run some numbers and everything, and they come back and they were like, well, listen, we can get her in the vehicle. We ain't got no problem. We just need a cosign. I was like, well, listen, we got to go. You know what I mean? But I already told her that I'm not doing this. This was here to see about what you can do.
Already told
and at least put yourself in a position to understand where you are in life. That, okay, well, listen, I don't have it to get my own just yet.
Yeah.
So when you send me an email saying that you've been living, or send me a text stating that you've been raising and doing life since you were 16, ma'am, no, you have not. Because if that was the case, you would have had enough of life to be able to get this car on your own. My job was there just so you don't get screwed over. Right? And then we got a question from the chat. Kayla Reese says, how can we as parents supply what they need and not cripple them in the process? And do you think us working so hard to supply what they want took away the precious time that they need to really mentally develop what's going to happen to them in the world?
Absolutely.
Yeah, and let me chime in first on that one. I definitely believe so. I believe in our generation, it was more complicated because of we was more in competition with our parents based on what they wasn't able to provide to us. So we came into it that when we have children, we was going to be more on a provision standpoint more than an impact.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? We was more on the providing thing, making sure they had the right clothes, the right shoes and all that. They have the car or whatever. We wasn't really much on the impact because being that mama and them liked it, the providing for us, that was number one on our rule to do. You know what I'm saying? To provide mightily for our children. But by providing so much for them, it made it hard for them to go out there. And I told my son straightforward, I said, there's two things I want you to be able to afford in life. And he said, what? I said, number one, I want you to be able to afford if your plan work. But number two, I want you to be able to afford if your plan don't work. And what happened is they only learning is to go out there if their plan work. But if it don't work, they come to us. You have to be able to afford both of them. If it work or if it don't work. But I think being at how we provided for them so heavily, and parents can say whether we lying or not, but most parents, we sign ourselves up to really compete against other parents. You don't know, let your child be a firefighter or a doctor or whatever. Oh, we finna overhype them up like a mad dog. So now you have parents going against other parents on what I brought my child. They got this, they got that, or whatever. But honestly, that's putting pressure on the kids too. And we don't realize that. We're literally putting a bunch of pressure on them because of we're signing them up for stuff they ain't volunteered for. You know what I'm saying? They're going out this world undefeated. They had everything in life, and we felt we were doing a good thing, and to a certain point, we was. You know, we provided, but by doing that, we enabled them so much. You know what I'm saying? Because of they have no war stories at all. They have nothing to hype them up. All of us who have conversations, our fuel became our setbacks. Our setbacks in life, that's what our fuel was. Our fuel was, mama didn't have this, came from a single family home. All we talk about was fuel, right? Mm-hmm. But how can you feel yourself, hey, I went undefeated. Daddy gave me everything. Mama did this here, and I still became. That's more complicated. You see what I'm saying? We just made their job a little harder to succeed. They still can succeed. It just make it harder when you going undefeated to play the very next year to still want to win.
So I see. I wish best for my daughter.
Oh yeah,
I'm not gonna like listen. If you make it and your plan works, like you said, so be it.
Yep.
But my job, listen, I'm an avid chess player, so I think 4 or 5 moves ahead. I always have a plan A.
Yep,
Plan A
same
don't
note.
work. Plan B. And this is just
CND.
being right. And this is just being during the time a husband. You know what I'm saying? We need to figure out some things. And I said, okay, if this doesn't work, we can pivot here. We can move here. We can do this here. You know what I mean? And I try to instill that in her. But if she doesn't want to do it, by all means, you can play the game on hard mode if you want.
That's right.
But the game is being played now. Time doesn't wait for nobody.
Right.
Once you walked out the door and it's like, okay, I'm doing this right now, then go ahead and do it. And like I said, I'll be here to watch. I'm not going to be that safety net. You can't call me just in case things get hard or whatnot. I told you need to start figuring stuff out on your own. You know what I mean? I said the only thing I can give you is a place to stay. You're not going to be homeless. But if this is what you want to do and you just want to go ahead and try to figure this thing out, by all means, so be it. She had also brought this up, right? And it made me laugh. She was like, because she's in the moving in processes with her and her current boyfriend. I said, I don't condone that, but it's a long distance relationship. And I was like, and she was like, you out of all people should know how this works. And I had to laugh because yes, me and her mother had a long distance relationship. I was in the Corps, but me and her mother were friends all through high school. So we was around each other all the time, right? And I said, also what she don't realize is that I moved her mother to Jacksonville when I was in the military. And then on top of that, while they were looking for work, I was sending the funds to pay the rent and all of this until I get out, right? So don't get it twisted to where, okay, yeah, me and her just moved in together, because when we moved down here, we were already married. So one thing is different. Y'all two not even married and you're trying to get one. 2, you haven't explained to me how you all plan to get this apartment, because he's in wherever country or whatever state he's in working. Is he going to send you money down here?
Right.
Because proof be told, if you get into a car accident, like if Keita, like me and Keita together, if Keita had gotten into a car accident while we were together, there is no way I'm allow you to drive that vehicle to come see me. That's 1. And 2, I need for you to find out how much it costs to repair that vehicle, so that way we can go ahead and get that taken care of, or I'm going to come down there and we're going to get another vehicle. But then this is a husband speaking to his wife, not a boyfriend speaking to his girlfriend.
Facts.
So
Absolutely. That's good, man.
You know, I think a bigger thing is that when we grew up, they taught us responsibility and accountability. They said, hard head make a soft behind.
Yeah, it does.
And if you made the bed, you're going to lay in the bed. So, I mean, sometimes we just have to take our hand off of it. And don't get me wrong, that's not easy to do. It's not easy to do. My son will tell you, he's 28 now, but he was a high-functioning artistic child. And his mom let him do whatever. But when he came here and had to stay with his daddy, just like I told him, this is my house.
Right.
You're gonna abide by my rules.
Right.
You know,
Right.
because
Right.
even being 57, if I went back home to my mama's house,
You got to abide by
I gotta
that rule.
abide by her rules.
Be in the house
And
by
that's
a
what I-
certain time
exactly.
and everything like
And
that.
I already know at a certain time, them doors gonna be locked, so you're gonna be outside if you ain't in by then.
Yeah, I think it's challenging too, man. I remember I was at a job and one of my coworkers, he had put in for a management position, and he ended up getting a position, and we was all happy for him, and he was just kind of sad a little bit. And I said, "Yo, man, you all right?" And he said, "Nah, not really. I'm kind of happy about the job, but you know." And I said, "What's wrong?" And he said, "It's just I'm not mad about I got the job, but I'm mad about y'all." I said, "What about y'all?" He said, "Being that you've seen me for so long as your coworker."
Right.
You see what I'm saying? And I think sometimes we allow our children to see us as friends a lot. When it's time for us to be mom and dad or whatever, it's hard for them to view us as mom and dad when we was viewing them as friends a lot. Because he had a hard time. He said, "Man, y'all being my coworker for so long, tomorrow y'all have to call me Mr. Peterson." You see what I'm saying? But y'all used to calling me Chris for so long. You see what I'm saying? And what he was saying was the truth, because we was like, "Nah, man, we cool." And when he became manager, and one day I came in from work late, he was like, "Hey, Al, you late?" I said, "Man, Chris, tighten up, man. We good, bro." You know what I'm saying? In my mind, I'm like, "You're my friend," because I've been seeing you so long as my coworker. And I think sometimes in life, you know, we shouldn't be able to see certain things. And if we are able to see certain things, we have to be mature for it. And I think sometimes we do put these kids in a bad position because they see us as friend. That's why I told my son when he started calling me bro, I was like, man, you know, I set that up for him to call me bro. You see what I'm saying? Because we've been so cool, we tripping, you know, I'm asking him, can I hold his Jordans and all this stuff here? You know what I'm saying? But not knowing how complicated it's going to be for him to see me as dad. You know what I'm saying? Because my supervisor had a heart. He said, "Man, I wish I could bring my own people." And he was being honest. He said, "If I bring my own people, they're going to see me as supervisor."
Right.
Instantly, because they never saw me as a coworker. And I just think now we're just allowing the children to see so much. See, versus when we grew up, we weren't allowed to see everything, really. You know what I'm saying? You know, we weren't allowed to see nothing.
We weren't around when adults had conversations.
Man, listen. I knew my mama drank liquor or whatever, but I never saw it in the refrigerator. You know, we weren't allowed to see nothing. You know what I'm saying? I think now they see so much stuff. They get to see mama on Facebook with a little small skirt on, showing her tats the whole nine, but then you finna discipline me to tell me this and that. It's more complicated because I have so much information. I remember, man, and I ain't gonna hold it long. I remember I came from old school church, and I love board churches. I get found in churches, but one thing about board church, what they do is they protect the pastor. And the pastor of board church way back in the days, you never had the pastor home number. You never had no information, and your children couldn't even much be close to his kids. And so we was like, why was it like that? And a lady for the board at the church, she said, if we allow y'all to become close to pastor and his family, y'all will find stuff that y'all don't like about them. And what we do is allow people to come so close, you see what I'm saying, to see everything about us. If you hang around me for 5 minutes, you ain't gonna like me. You see what I'm saying? I don't even like me. You see what I'm saying? So at the same time, I think that we allow the kids to see too much. So when it's time to discipline them, it's watered down because they see so much. You know, they see you smoking, they see you doing your thing, they see you twerking and all that. Then now you finna say, hey, I'm trying to speak life into you, really? After all I done seen, and you want me to really listen to you, and you on Facebook going off on people, you doing all this here, but now I'm seeing too much, and I think now being the world is so informative, it's just so much being seen because true story, back in the days you weren't allowed to even call the pastor at home. Well, now what, you got pastor cell number, you can call them straight up the whole nine, but guess what? You're singing too much, and what happens? We leave because of what? We know too much.
But it's not
Yeah.
just that. You got social media raising our kids as well, instead of the parents. Like you're saying, when parents have became friends versus parents, that's a problem.
Oh,
So
yeah.
when you letting social media raise your kids,
Yes.
you don't have no power.
Yeah.
You've given up your power. You relinquished it because it's too many. And I was looking at a movie and the uncle was there. He came home. The baby's there. Say, where's the mama? Oh, she's out. Where she went? I don't know. Do you know when she's gonna be back? I don't know. I just got her looking at TV,
Right.
occupying her mind.
Oh, you talking about his and hers? I
Yeah,
think.
yes, exactly.
Yeah.
His and hers. And I'm like, he said, well, where your mom at? You know? So that's what's happening now. Parents are not being parents. They're too busy trying to be friends.
That's it.
And see, I think as a father, I have to take some accountability, and I just want to not speak on everything that my daughter is doing. She's doing a lot of the things that she wants to do because that's what she wants to do. But when you bring up that, my daughter, I will say, was a latchkey kid. And for those who don't know, that's a person that did listen. You come in the house, got her own key. When you close and you lock the door behind you, there's food in the refrigerator. Make sure you get your homework done before I get home. So that's kind of what it was. You know what I mean? And during that time period, I feel like there might have been some things that might have taken place during that time period where you were here by yourself, home, left to your own devices.
Right.
You know what I mean? So yeah, there might have been a time where, okay, well, she's done watching that. She's middle school now. She might have gone upstairs and watched television after she ate. You know what I'm saying? But whatever it is that you're watching on YouTube or whatnot, we will hope that it was something that was wholesome or whatnot. We don't ever want to think that they will be doing something crazy. But then that's where the situation came in where I did catch her doing something that she wasn't supposed to be doing because it put a virus on a computer. So that lets me know, yeah, when you get home, you're not doing the things that you're supposed to do when you get home. But I had to take responsibility for that. But then you also get punished. Now, I was never the one to be your friend. That's one thing that I never was. You either listen to what I say or you're going to deal with the consequences. And that's what it is. We had an issue with her always lying because I would always know. I was like, okay, for every time that you lie, you're going to get punished for it. You know what I mean? So once you stop lying, then your punishment might not be severe. But once I catch you in the lie, it's going to be worse than what it could have been, you know? But at the end of the day, you know what I mean? I think none of us really had a instruction manual on how to deal with these kids, you know? And the anger that I had that was coming up in reference to my parents, I kind of brought it into what I had going on, and I tried to have it overlap on them. You know what I mean? So a lot of my fuel to furnish the house that I'm currently in, to make sure that my daughter was going to a private school before she went to a public school, a private Christian school at that. The fuel that I needed to make sure that she had a car in high school. You know what I mean? The fuel that I had to make sure that my wife at the time had the vehicle that she wanted. You know what I mean? So I can say, yeah, I worked and I worked and I worked. My next thing will be whether or not maybe I might have not have been there as emotionally as she might have needed. You know what I mean? Maybe there were some things that I might have dropped the ball on. But I would probably say out of 100%, I would probably say I did about 75 to 80% of the stuff right. You know what I mean? That other 20%, you know what I mean, is I'm a work in progress. And I'm thinking that might be one of the reasons why she's in the situation where she feels like I want to do this on my own. You know what I mean? And by all means, you got a right to do that.
Well, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna challenge you to do it this way and look at it this way, because a good friend of mine said that there's a positive out of every negative situation that you deal with. We just have to find it.
Right.
There's a positive out of every negative situation that you go through in life. We just have to find it. And the illustration of that is, guess what? Your car can't run unless the negative and the positive are hooked up together.
That's right.
Oh, that's a good analogy.
Yeah,
That
absolutely.
circuit.
Yep.
If one is unplugged, your vehicle ain't running. So that lets you know that there is something good out of every negative situation that we can learn from, that we can channel our energy to. We just have to find it. We don't always have the answer for it right there, but there is one.
That's it right there, bro. That's it.
Yeah, because everything work together. Like you as a person, what's the most important part of a car?
Yeah,
Brakes.
and
They gonna say the brakes, right? Nope. Got to have everything working together.
And even to add to it, man, the reason why even the Bible has became more challenging is because the world now, whether it's parenting, whether it's faith, regardless what it is, we go off the results. So if the results don't lie, if the results isn't positive, that means that it was wrong. If that's the case, you ain't gonna never read the Bible, because you could do everything that the Bible say do, and it'll still end up being defeated. You see what I'm saying? But does it mean that you was wrong? But being that we go off so much off results, we look so much off what happened after I did the teaching. They got a 30. So that's wrong. So I gotta regroup. They just ain't get it. That's all. You see what I'm saying? And so being that our generation, we go off results so much that it makes us regroup. Oh, they made a 60. But they made a 60, but you had 20 other students made an 8. You see what I'm saying? And so that's why we regroup so much, because we go off of the results instead of going off of I did the right thing. That's all that matters. I know what I did was the right thing. Now the results didn't come out the way I would want them to come out, but I know I did the right thing. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I lean my head on. You know what I'm saying? Is doing the right thing. Don't worry about the results, because the results will make us keep going to the drawing board over and over and scratching our heads saying, I think I did something wrong. No, you didn't. You didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah.
You ain't do nothing wrong at all. You see what
God
I'm
gonna
saying?
give you persecution.
Yeah, you ain't
Right.
you ain't
He
do
gonna give you
anything wrong at all.
persecution to test your vision.
Because let me tell you something. Because you can sell dope and get good results. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that is
It
true.
ain't. You know what I'm saying? So there's things you can do and get good results off of, but it's not the right thing to do. You know what I'm saying? So if you play that game called results, you'll be constantly switching your game plan forever. Because you're switching it for results instead of switching it because it's the right thing. I can care less if my team lose. As long as we done everything we're supposed to do, I'm good with that. But you got some people, if they lose, I'm sick of this. I'm so tired of it. So what in the world? So that means that you're only playing for results. Yeah. So, you know what I'm saying? But if y'all would have won, good job, everybody. No, you know what I'm saying? No.
And see, the key thing you said was you pray. And I'm going to give you an acronym that helps you to keep praying, keep pushing, because you pray until something happens. Pray until something happens. You just got to push. Continue to push. Because prayer changes things. You may not always see it at that moment, but the last time I checked, he's an on-time God.
Yeah, I think what was it?
Depends on what you pray for too.
Well, listen,
But
right?
you got to be specific in what you're praying.
Right,
Yeah,
but
what you pray
what was it? Because I have a quiet set time, right? So when I do pray, I just get quiet.
Meditation.
Yeah, right.
Right.
So and one day I was praying. I think I prayed for like I was like 2 weeks, and I was asking God for the exact same thing. Like maybe God, you didn't hear me this time, so I'm gonna let you know again. And maybe you didn't hear me this time. So one day I was sitting on the couch. It was just nothing that was on, no phone or nothing. I was just sitting there, and God told me, it was like, listen, don't ask me that no more.
'Cause you know.
I heard you the first time, and I was like, okay, well, bet since you heard it, I'm not going to ask you, but you know what I stand in the need of, right? I don't want to say it
Patient
again.
like a mother.
Huh? No, because sometimes I think we be thinking that God is like an ATM machine.
No.
And we pray and we think, okay, well, the thing going to come out and the
Just
gift is
like
going to
that.
come out. Yeah.
Yeah,
But that's not the case. It's just like, okay, well, God, this is what I would like to happen, but let your will be what it is.
This is the thing about prayer. You should have a prayer life. That's throughout the day, if you can do it. Even in the Bible, Jesus prayed 4 hours a day. From the disciples, you'll be like, oh, let me go pray 4 hours. You can cast out stuff and all that there.
But
that's the way we're supposed to be.
question.
Because you got to think, even when we're riding in the rain, how many people just pray like, even when it's not raining, how many people just pray,
Get me from point A to
thank
point
you,
B.
thank you, God, for thank you in advance. In advance, like a lot of people just pray for what. Oh God, if give me this sin, God, I this, and then if He do give it to you, guess what? It's still the same thing. You less appreciate it because you be like, oh, every time I pray, oh, how many times you hear, you don't mess with God kids, God children.
Yeah.
I don't think
I
it's
had to
about God
I had to wrestle with myself with something that I had to share with my son when we was talking about certain issues that I had and certain things that I think that I failed as a father with him coming up. I got a friend who he did time in prison, and when he got out, he did like about 20 years. So when he did 20 years, he came out of prison. True story. He came out, and he was riding around in a drop top, and he had his jeans hung down or whatever, tank top on, and I'm just looking at him because my age doesn't fit what he was doing. So I asked him something that made me even question myself when I talked to my son. I said, bro, I got to ask you a question. I said, bro, during this time, I was in my early 40s. I said, bro, we're in our 40s now, dog. Talk to me. And he said, you in your 40s. But this is the time that I lost. But basically, what he was saying to me was something I had to tell my son. I had my oldest boy. I was 19, almost 20. So there was years that I didn't really see. And I think a lot of times in our generation, we can have our children so early that by the time they get grown, we try to go back to the years
That you lost.
that we lost. So we become their friend, their homeboy, and all that stuff there. And that's why I was telling my son, I said, man, I will hope that y'all spend all the time that y'all can before y'all start having children. You see what I'm saying? Because sometimes we'll try to go back, and in the prison system, they call it institutionalized. You see what I'm saying? Because of the simple fact, I done so much time being a parent. I never felt what it was like being young. You know what I'm saying? To having my own place, the whole nine, that us as parents, sometimes we go back there. You see what I'm saying? You know, acting like we young, and they looking at us like, you okay? But truthfully, we institutionalized. No, I had you when I was 17. You know what I'm saying? And I should have waited till, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, we got to grab that, you know, sometimes you can't get back the time you lost. You know, one of my favorite singers of all time is Michael Jackson, no question. But what happened to him? He became a man when he was 6, 7 years old. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? And now he became grown. Then you saw him riding Ferris wheels and things like that.
He want to live a childhood life.
He want to go back to a life that he never had. And sometimes us as parenting, we end up, for whatever reason, you know, we can have our children at very young ages, and then we miss the fact of how life would have been. You know what I'm saying? I'm chilling to myself and I'm being young and all this stuff here. And then we say, you know what, the hell with it. I'm finna start doing my thing. And a child like, what about me? What about you? Shoot, I lost my years and all this here. You know what I'm saying? But truthfully, in that standpoint, if he could say he was institutionalized by being in prison, if we seen certain, like, saw what happened with Michael Jackson, he became grown as he was a baby almost being grown. He had to stay inside the house while his brothers and them go to the playground. You see what I'm saying? So those years I lost. So I'm gonna want to go back there. You see what I'm saying? Because
Right.
I lost that. And I think sometimes us as parents, when we do have children at young ages, and I tell my sons all day long, man, take your time. You know what I'm saying? Because live your life. Live your life, because if you don't, what's going to happen is you're going to have these children try to go right back to that time that you lost. And that time that you lost is going to affect where you at now.
That's a good point. And I mean, that is definitely, you see it in society a lot, especially with performers and celebrities. Children don't get to live their life. One, because of the statue and the status that their parents have. So they force you to grow up faster than what you should.
Yep.
That's what you see them crazy. The kids
Right.
seem like they go crazy from Nickelodeon and Disney.
Right.
Exactly.
It's because, man, they've been working.
That's it.
They've been working as adults, as
Yes.
teenagers.
There you
and
go.
then you see them, and they living on their own, and it's like, okay, well, bet like you got your Britney Spears, and they
Prime
dancing.
example. Absolutely.
What was it? The Olsen twins.
Absolutely,
What was going on with them?
absolutely. Hannah Montana and
Hannah,
all that. And
yeah.
they came out then when they became grown, Macaulay Culkin them or whatever, the
Yeah.
whole nine.
Abuse of
When
drugs.
you seen that at such a young age, becoming almost grown, you paying mama them bills and you 11. You know what I'm saying? There's a bike story to it that there's times that you lost, critical time. You know what I'm saying? Critical time that you actually lost. And I think with us, like I told my son, I said, bro, listen. I said, although he ain't listening, but I said, man, take your time, even when you have children. Take your time, live your life, because you don't want to have your children at a younger age to a point where you end up trying to go back to that time that you lost. You see what I'm saying? But when you go back to the time that you lost, the people you sacrifice is the ones that's in your present. You know what I'm saying?
we have to be mindful of that. I ride through my old neighborhood every now and then, and there was a sandwich shop right around the corner from me. I used to go to the sandwich shop every morning, every day. And what I noticed is that we as parents, sometimes we're trying to set our kids up for success, but you still have to let them live their life. Like, they would have been set because they grew up working in the restaurant, but they were children.
There was children.
So they never got a childhood life. And then you wonder why when the mom and the dad pass away, they sell it.
They sell it.
Because I ain't had a chance to live no life. I know this was supposed to be something to help me be set up for life, but I never got a chance to live my life because I've been flipping burgers and doing this and making sandwiches and all that.
Jenkins.
Now I don't,
Raising kids.
now I don't want to do it no more. And that's a prime example, Big Chip. People don't understand why Jenkins went out of business.
Man,
I mean, think about it.
we were for kids to barbecue sauce. What's happening, man? Let's go.
I mean, think about it now, really.
Nah, the
If that-
passion. The
if
kid,
that-
the grandkids, they have the passion.
They don't have a passion.
Yeah.
So, of course, if that's what you're doing when you're young, you think you really want to do that when you're older?
Facts.
But I think sometimes it comes with lineage, right?
It does.
So assuming that I start a restaurant, right? My idea would be I don't want to pass on you having to do the basic parts of the restaurant.
Right.
You will want to come in with the restaurant being franchised and you're maintaining what has already been built, right? So I don't think I would want to come in to a Jenkins barbecue having to smoke ribs and stuff like that. That's just not my thing. But I might be good managerial position if I have multiple Jenkins barbecues and I'm put in a position where I can manage what you have built. I think that's my fear. It's like, okay, I was listening to a guy and he was like, in a couple of more generations, somebody is going to be living in your house. The car that you have is going to be trashed and junked.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Once you're gone, you're probably going to be remembered for about another 2 generations before you're forgotten to the wind. And that impact, that hit me hard. It's like, yo, I'm trying real hard to try to do and acquire stuff. You know what I mean? So I sit back now and it's like, man, I enjoy the things that don't really require a lot of money. You know what I mean? Like warm robes.
Right.
Yo, I got this. Okay, so don't judge me. I got like this thing. Nah, y'all gonna mess with me. Nah, don't mess with me, man.
What you got?
No, man.
Is that the robe you had on the last time?
Yeah. But see, I popped that robe in the dryer, man, and it's good. But no, I got a foot spa tub, man, and the junk when you put in there, you got the things where you can rub your feet underneath of there, and it made the water hot. You know what I'm saying? And
Right.
They was like, yeah, get yourself some Epsom salt and tea tree oil. So I got that, and I'm wiggling my toes all in there with the robe on. Then I realized, man, this is what I've been missing. I've been working so hard, and something as simple as allowing my feet to soak. I'm talking about when I took my feet out, I'm wiggling my toes now. When I took my feet out, you know how you have your hands in water too long and the tips of your fingers get wrinkly? Yeah, that's how my things was, man. I had my feet boiled for a good 35, 45 minutes with the bubbles and stuff coming up. So I'm learning to enjoy the simpler things in life. You
And
know?
I think that's what it is. I think as we get older, you know, they say when you get older, you get wiser. You start to value things a lot differently and look at things a lot differently. For one, because we can have all the stuff in the world, but we can't take it with us when we go.
None of it. Absolutely.
Right
none
about
of
that,
it.
bro.
So you want to be able to enjoy
with the U-Haul.
enjoy life, because in all reality, and this is a true story. I don't know if you know about this, Funny Bone, but you and the family. But check this out now. We had a family member that they thought was finna pass away. True story. Now, I'm
Why
not
you
lying about
laughing,
this.
Chip? I don't know why.
He in our family.
Listen,
I was laughing because he said they thought they were going to pass away.
Hey, look, let me the big chill. This is gonna kick you. This is gonna trigger you out now. This is how bad they thought it was finna happen. People start going in the house, moving stuff out of it. Didn't pass away.
Oh,
You should have seen people scrambling.
To get that stuff back to the
Exactly, to put stuff back in the house. See, that's what I'm saying. So you worrying about what you gonna get when this person gone, when you should be thankful
that
that
the
they're
person's
here.
still here.
Right. So, you know, my grandfather lived to be 96. My grandmother lived to be 92. And even to this day, I still have a heartburn because I did 27 years in the military. So I'm hurt because of the years that I was not here. They understood why I was not here, but time is something you can't get back once it's gone. So you have to live each day like it's your last.
that's right, bro.
God came that we may have life and have it more abundantly. Yeah, we know that there's a house and a mansion made for us in heaven, but we don't have to wait till we get there to enjoy it. But it's also about this. It's not about the material stuff.
It's not.
Peace of mind is better than anything whatsoever.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no stress at all.
Yeah, ain't no
Positive vibes only.
Stress kills. So guess what? The feet massage, man, I'm faithful. Trust me. I'll be right up in there getting my feet and my nails done.
And
I don't care what nobody
Oh, so
say.
y'all dapping? Is that what?
And shoot, man, look. I'm telling you, hey,
Nah,
when
all right.
when I was stationed in Korea, I used to be down there every weekend, and no women coming there looking. I'm like, look, yeah, I'm gonna take care of my body just like y'all do.
Yeah, man.
So you don't realize how much that relaxes your body,
Yeah.
because in all reality, the richest man in the world ain't happy
yeah,
because
man.
money don't buy happiness.
Yeah, and you know, people often ask me, man. A lot of times, people be around me and they'll see me. A lot of times, I try to smile or try to be upbeat. And somebody said, man, why you always in a good mood? Why you never too much check people or whatever? And I said something, bro, that blessed him. That how I think and how I process stuff. I use analogies, and a lot of times, even in the Bible, Jesus spoke in parables. But I use the number 16. The number 16 is the answer. You got some people is going to use 8 times 2 to get to 16. Some may use 8 plus 8. Some may use 15 plus 1. Some may use 14 plus 2, but the answer is 16. People focus a lot of arguing on how do you get to 16 instead of do you have 16. All I care about is do we have the same answer. I don't care about how do you get the answer as long as you have it. You know what I'm saying? Some may have to do 12 plus 2 plus 2. That's fine. You still got 16 as long as you get the right answer. And I think what the enemy do, even in parenting and different things like that, he try to get us to focus a lot on the equation and different things like that to stay away from do we have the right answer. You know what I'm saying? Because I may not parent the same way that you parent. But as long as we get the same answer, that's all that matters. You see what I'm saying? Because there's certain stuff that you may have to put in your daughter that I may not put in my son. You see what I'm saying? But as long as we get the same answer, and I think people is now challenging one another because when you see people debate different things like that, we're never debating on the answer. Even when people talk about God, we all know they love God. We debating on how we get to him. Yeah, we do this here. I don't believe in drinking. Man, do you have the same answer? That's all I need to know. And so I think, really, truthfully, as long as you come up with the same answer, that's all that matter. Because nowadays, man, we gonna use different ways to get it. You know what I'm saying? We all gonna use different ways, but as long as we come up with the same answer, that's the only thing that really matter. You know what I'm saying? Not how you get the answer, long as you have the same answer.
You know, I think that for me, I just want to say thank you to each and every one of you. My pastor told me one time before that I was a wounded healer. I didn't understand that. He said you can still heal people even when you're wounded. And this anger management podcast that you're doing is healing. Not just me, it's healing a lot of people. Y'all have healed me because y'all have shared moments with me. Y'all have shared stories that have healed me. Y'all have shared, things that y'all been through in life that have blessed me. So I thank each and every one of you. Chip, your story in itself is amazing. Funny Bone, we've talked.
Facts.
Like I told you before, we're not just brother-in-laws, we're brothers.
Facts.
Leroy, we be on stage together. We monologue together sometime on stage because it's whatever is needed to fuel the fire inside of everybody or to touch someone's heart.
That's right.
So me personally telling you, each and every one of you, I love you. These are my brothers.
Facts.
And I thank you.
Brother.
Absolutely. There's no question about that, man. Love you too, man. I can say this too, man, to anybody, even the listeners out there, man. I remember they was talking about the Pope one time. He's riding around, and they call it a Pope mobile, and he is out the Pope mobile, and man, this Joker jump. The windows is bulletproof like a mad dog. And I was like, there, dog, everything bulletproof. And so I think Cadillac had made it, and so they was talking to the Cadillac owners, were the ones who made it, the manufacturing company, about them making it and how they made it. And the man said something that was so profound. He said, if you shoot right now at this window, it's going to ricochet. But the reason why it's going to ricochet is because before it didn't, which shows you that sometimes the only way you can be unbreakable, you have to once be broken. You see what I'm saying? Being that it was broken before, that's now we can make it unbreakable. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
And the only way you can be unbreakable, you have to once been broken.
Right.
Because it's hard to be unbreakable and you never been broken. You know what I'm saying? And that's just real talk. You know what I'm saying? And I think sometimes being broken before can be more of a blessing than a curse. You know what I'm saying? Because being broken before can help you to become being unbreakable. And I think that's the thing that's harder for our children, because a lot of them never been broken before. You know what I'm saying? Which make them hard to be unbreakable because they never been broken. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes being broken before helps you to become to be unbreakable.
That's what I think about Leroy. He's been broken and steady. He broken still.
Yep.
Because as I look down at his leg, is ashy.
Bro,
I
I thought you was about to say something profound, man.
Man, hey, I was about to start crying as he talking like he been through a lot. He have been through the struggle, man. I tell you.
Hey, I'm sitting right here.
I'm ashy, though. I am ashy.
Hey, I'm
Y'all
just
can't
gonna
see
be
at the
honest.
bottom part.
I thought he had his salsa like Michael
Boy,
Cooper.
you took yourself, boy. Hey, boy, you took yourself.
Oh, y'all ignorant.
Boy, you made a
Hey,
quick
come on, Bone. Stop looking, man. You're bringing attention,
boy.
man.
That joke about to preach. I'm like, preach, bro. That's right. He has been broken. Things happen in his life, man. I'm with you, man.
Then he turned left.
Turn left, real quick. I like
But
that, bro.
listen,
Quick
right?
left.
In closing, first and foremost, like I always do, I just thank everybody for just participating in this. But I think I've been running podcasts since 2017. I've been running like the Signal 27 show, Couples and Cocktails, Conversations with an Evolving Queen, a slew of other ones. The Takeover show, where it was an all-ladies show. I believe that was all a precursor for me to learn. Honestly, tell the truth, I think this particular podcast here can and will develop into something that will be able to be beneficial to both sexes, specifically for men, though.
Right.
But I need for the ladies to understand, like, these are the things that men go through, and the questions that we have to have amongst us to be able to resolve things, so that way we can be better men for you all. So at the end of the day, man, just thank y'all. I thank
Thanks.
each and every last one of y'all.
It's
you know? But in closing, right, what I want to do, like I always do, is I'll go around the room, see if y'all have anything that y'all want to propose or what y'all got going on, and then we can go ahead and close the show out. So, Bone, what you got going up?
Oh man, it was all good, man. It's real good to fellowship with everybody, man. Man, always a exciting time, man, to chill with the brothers, man, and just wrap it up and talk. It's kind of hard that brothers can open up, man. So being able to open up is a great, great thing, man. So definitely looking forward to the next time.
Coffee.
I thought I was invisible.
I know you lying.
Nah, it's I enjoy talking real conversation with real men, first of all, and the avenues of getting the same results, but like you said, it's different ways of getting there.
Facts.
So I love it. I mean, I just enjoy it. I love y'all brothers. I love everybody, but I love y'all brothers.
Did you put up the black fist too?
Yeah.
What about you, Ernest?
I have to say, I look at the podcast and meeting with the brothers as it's like when you have a girlfriend in high school, and it's only your girlfriend while you in school. Because once you get out of school, you don't have no girlfriend when you go home. You just have home life. So you always looking forward to going to school the next day so you can see your girlfriend. For me, that's what it is for me. I look forward to coming here and spending time with y'all, because y'all make it. It's a family affair.
Yeah.
And I love the interaction that we have, and I love the bond that we share with each other.
Yeah, and lastly, if I could say one thing, definitely want to give a shout out for tomorrow's MLK, and definitely want to give a shout out to that. Dr. King played a lot of parts, even us being able to be fortunate to do what we doing.
Right.
But one thing that I challenge all of us with is don't allow February the 14th to be the only day you show love to your significant other. Don't allow that particular day to be a time where you show love. You know what I'm saying? Don't allow Father's Day to be a day that you give daddy love. Give him love all through the year. Tomorrow we'll celebrate Dr. King, but don't allow tomorrow to be just the day that you celebrate him. Celebrate him throughout the whole year. You know what I'm saying? And I think us as black people, sometimes we celebrate something of that particular day and leave it there. But I think there's certain things we should take throughout the whole year, and tomorrow is definitely one of them. Keep showing love throughout, man. That's real talk, because this man definitely paved the way for a whole bunch of us. I wasn't alive during certain things that happened. I never went to a whites only bathroom before. I'm going to all the bathrooms. I don't care. So certain things happen that we have no idea. So we definitely thank God for.
How you turn these white only pies?
So I wish you would spray me with a water hose. Spray what will happen to you.
You say about 2 blocks down.
But you would spray me with a water hose, Jack. Yeah, I'm saying.
Yo.
It's totally different now.
God, you know shit out of me. Yo, and our engineer, brother, what you got going on?
Hey, same as last week. You guys want to learn how to make mixed drinks? Check me out on DANNERIUM Presents on YouTube. Do layered drinks, regular drinks. And every now and then I'll sprinkle some jokes in.
Because he's mixed.
Oh, here we go. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you all for tuning into the Anger Management Podcast, or AMP. We're going to be having our next show in 2 weeks. And then by that time, we'll have some things that'll be coming down the pipeline that I'll be introducing. You can always follow us on social media. As of right now, we don't have the AMP website up yet. It's going to be part of the new Vox Magna Media podcasting network, where you'll be able to pull up that information as well. But also, we'll also be placing these audios on the streaming platform so that you can always go back and listen to it. The same thing that I was doing with the Signal 27 show, except for this one here is going to be a little bit more. This one here is more productive, more informational, as well as it meant to help out individuals that are going through anything that they're going through as far as mental health, and their development with anxiety, depression, and anger, and all of that. So continue to support us, and we appreciate it. And y'all, we'll check you out next time.
Facts.
Right.
All right. Yes, sir.